Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I would do another makeup artist video. I know you guys really do enjoy these. I want to do another Q&A very soon, but I think the next most requested video that I get is what makeup brushes I use in my makeup kit. So I thought I would just go ahead and just talk with you guys through each brush that I use. Actually, I probably use about, I would say like 75% of these brushes. I'll share with you guys which ones I use the most. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I think I'll start with the eye brushes first, and then I'll go in and doing face brushes and everything like that. So they're in order because as you can see, not everything is in order here as per eye and face. So I'll just kind of go through with you guys each brush that I use and we'll take it from there. Okay, so when it comes to this little belt that I have here, I actually got this from Morphe. I got a huge kind of brush set from Morphe a couple years back, and this actually came with it. I just kind of mainly use this belt to carry my brushes in. I don't wear it around my waist actually, just because for me, I feel like I'm the kind of person where if I bend down to look for a brush that I want, whether it's a blending brush or whatever, if I just keep looking down at my waist, it will take me a good 20 minutes to find the one brush that I'm looking for. So for me, I mainly just have this just to carry my brushes with me from place to place. So that's really what this is all about. If you guys wear the belts, I applaud you because I know myself. I will go through with you guys each brush. I am also an affiliate with Sigma, as you guys know. So as always, I will link every brush down below that I use for you guys. And then again, I will let you guys know which brushes I use the most. So starting left to right, this is the Sigma. This is the medium angled shading brush, E70. I don't use this one as much. If I do need to use it, I kind of use it more for contouring the nose a little bit, or if there is, you know, kind of a brow bone highlight, anything like that. This brush can be used, honestly, these brushes can be used for anything, but I'll kind of give you guys an idea of what I use these brushes for. This is one I don't use as much, but it is always good to have backup brushes just in case you know, need to blend something a little bit more or anything like that. This one is the Sigma Shader E60 brush. Again, one I don't use as much, but it is always in my kit. Again, this is one I don't use as much either. This is the Sigma Exact Blend E32. These are kind of brushes, like I said, though I don't use them as much, I do use them once in a blue moon. Like I said, it's always good to have good backup brushes just in case there is, you know, something you need to blend out, or if there's something that's dirty and you need to do something right away. This one is the Sigma Eye Shading E55 brush. Again, one I don't use as much, but this is really honestly an essential for me, for myself, when I do my eye makeup. Now, this is one that I do use. This is the Sigma Concealer F70 brush. Though it is a concealer brush, I actually like to use it to apply shadows and pigments because it is a specific kind of hair, different than, you know, using this kind of brush that is a different, you know, hair kind of product that's in the bristles, as you can see. This really puts the pigment and the shadow on really amazingly. So I love using this brush for pigments and anything like that. If I want to dampen my brush to really intensify the pigment, I love using this brush. Next, this one is the Morphe M209. This is a brush that I just showed you before. I use this one a lot, especially with lid shades. These two are kind of the biggest lid shade brushes that I use. This one, if you just really want to have kind of that nice, soft lid shade, it's a really nice, fluffy, soft brush. So I really love this one I use a lot. Now this one is actually by BH Cosmetics. It doesn't have a number, it doesn't have a name on it, but I did get it in a BH Cosmetics brush kind of kit. And this one I actually use for, I mean, I'm putting it in the eye because it is an eye brush. It is like a shader brush. Reminds me a lot of like the Sigma large shading brush. But this one I actually use for applying orange concealer or brightening concealer under people's eyes. Especially when it comes to brides, I like to use the Becca corrector underneath the eyes to really just brighten up the eyes to make their eyes look really beautiful and bright in their photos. So I actually use this brush more for putting a concealer under the eyes. But I guess I'll put it in the eye just because it is an eye brush. This one is the Sigma Winged Liner E06. I do use this brush for winged liner. There is the next brush that I use more for winged liner, but this one is a great one when you really want to perfect that wing. As you can see, it is a very thin tip to it, so it really does make that wing perfect, and I really do love that one. But like I said, this is the brush I use the most when it comes to winged liner. This is the small angled E65 brush. I use this on myself for winged liner. Like I said, this is a winged liner brush, but this brush I use more so when I'm doing black eyeshadow. My favorite thing to do is, especially if someone doesn't want to do winged liner because they feel like it's too harsh, I like to go in with black eyeshadow along the the upper lash line, because putting black shadow and then putting false lashes, it's really going to hide the false lashes. So I love using this brush more so to create that black line and really get the black shadow into the inner corner of the eye so it doesn't make the false lashes look fake. So I do love this brush. It's a great winged liner brush and brush to just apply eyeshadows. This one is the eyeliner E05 by Sigma. Honestly, I think I've maybe used this once. So this is one I think just as a backup for me. I've never really used that one too much. This is a brush I use on the daily when it comes to makeup. This is the Morphe B16. I use this more so for inner corner highlight. It is a very, very small tip, as you can see. So it's great for putting that really nice shimmer inner corner highlight. This is a brush I use every single time. This is the Sigma Flat Definer E15 brush. As you can see, as the name of the brush tells you, it's a flat definer brush. This one I use more so to apply black eyeshadow to the lash line, like I said, with the E65, excuse me. I do like to use this to apply the black shadow, and then I'll go in with the E65 to really sharpen and really get all the corners and inner corners of the eye. So this is one I use all the time. This one is by Morphe. This is the M326. Again, this is another brush you could use for inner corner highlight. I like to use this one actually to smudge out shadows if you want to go ahead and smudge it out, or if you are doing a winged liner and I want to go ahead and set the black shadow. I always set winged liner with black shadow just so that it doesn't crease, it doesn't move to the upper lid or anything like that. So I do like to use this brush to go ahead and either smudge out, like I said, or to set the winged liner. Now this one actually is not the brow brush that I use on the daily. This one is by Brow Gal. I actually got it in a BoxyCharm box, but I put it in my kit just as a backup. I actually always had a Morphe eyebrow brush, and then a couple weddings back I lost it. I don't know what happened to it. So this is the one I've been using recently. I'm actually going to go ahead and purchase a new eyebrow brush from Morphe for Black Friday, but this is the brow brush I've been using. It's a lot thinner and a lot smaller than the Morphe brush that I'm used to, but I do like it, so that's the one I've been using recently just because I lost my other one. This one is by Morphe. This is the M431. This reminds me a lot of the Sigma pencil brush, the E30 by Sigma, which is very, very similar. I think that this one is a little bit thicker, a little bit wider, I should actually say, than the Sigma, but I really do like it. It's really nice, and I love to use this brush for lower lash line shadow and to really make sure that everything's nice and blended. This brush, I actually don't think they sell anymore, but this is 2 Sigma brushes in one. So this one, the numbers are like completely off. This side is the E20, which is the short shader brush, and this is the E45, which is the small tapered blending brush. Thank God I know that. So this is the short shader brush, as you can see. It's really, really great for making sure that that lower lash shadow is really just in the place that it needs to be. I really do love that side. And this side I love for applying lower lash line shadow as well, and then blending out kind of outer corners of your upper lid. So this brush I use all the time. This is definitely one of my favorites. I think this came in a Sigma palette case a while ago. I don't think, of course, that they sell this anymore, but like I said, I will link down below for you guys the 2 brushes that are in this one little brush here so you guys get your hands on them. But yeah, I do use both sides of this all the time. The next brush I have, this is the Morphe M506, I believe. Yes, 6. I moved the other brushes because I thought it was a little confusing with all the brushes in the background. But anyway, this one is one of my favorites when it comes to doing the soft winged liner. I love this brush. It's also really, really great for blending out shadows. It's a really great brush. It's not so thick as per like an E25 blending brush. It is a lot thinner, as you can see, but I really love it for kind of detail work and stuff like that. Also blending out shadows a little bit better. And the one I was just talking about, this is the blending brush by Sigma. This is the E25. It's a little travel size, but I do love it. This is the blending brush that I use on everybody. I also have other blending brushes, as you will see, but this is the one that I use for everyone. I love that it's travel size, so it's kind of little. I can pick it out of the bunch because it's gray. It's a different color than everything. Blending brushes are so important when it comes to doing makeup, and so I love this blending brush. It is by far one of my favorites. So this is the Sigma E25. This is another BH Cosmetics brush. As you can see, it was probably in the same kit as the other BH one that I showed you before. This is also their blending brush. It's really nice and soft, but I have this as a backup if I need to have another blending brush. If there's something I need to blend out a little bit better. This is the brush that I just have as a backup. I don't really use it as much, but it's a great backup blending brush to have in your kit. I actually have 3 more blending brushes. This one is by Colourpop. This, I think it has a name or number. It's just a Colourpop blending brush. It does have the same kind of tip as the Sigma. There we go, focus a little bit better. There we go. It does have the same kind of tip and kind of shape as the E25 by Sigma. Again, just another blending brush that I have in my kit as a backup. If I do need to blend something out a little bit better, I do have that one in my kit as well. This is one that I've had for a very, very long time. This is the MAC 217 blending brush. I used to use this one a lot, but I actually switched over to my Sigma just because I've had this brush for so long and I just feel like so many of the hairs are coming out that it's not giving the blendability, I guess you could say, or just, you know, I need to get a new one. I love this blending brush, but I just need to get a new one just because I just feel like so many of the bristles have fallen out that it's just not giving me, you know, the blending that I want. So I do have it in my kit just in case, like I said, another backup blending brush. And then this one I use all the time. As you can see, the writing has kind of almost come off. So this is the Morphe E17. This is another great blending brush. I actually use this to go ahead and apply my brow bone highlight first when I go ahead and start off any look. This is always the first brush that I reach. I love going in and just swooshing around the light shade for the brow bone highlight, and then I just go ahead and sweep it all over. Again, this is a great blending brush if you want to go ahead and blend everything out, but that is the way that I use this brush. So again, you can use these kind of brushes in any way, but this is one that I use on the daily and I absolutely love it. The last 4 eye brushes are the big kind of blending brushes. So this one is by Morphe as well. This is the Morphe M330. I love this one for, of course, applying a transition shade again, or really blending something out. I use the Sigma E40, which you guys will see in a second, for my transition shade, but this one is one that I have as a backup just in case I need to blend something out a little bit better. Like I said, this is the one that I use on the daily. This is the Sigma Tapered Blending E40 brush. It's nice, big, and fluffy, and it is just perfect to go ahead and apply the shadows right into the crease for your transition shade. Really, really love this brush. Again, this is the one that I use the most. This one, again, is another backup one. This is the Sigma Tapered Blending E35. Again, I don't really use this one as much, but I do have it in my kit just to have it. And then last but not least, this is the Morphe M433. Blah. And last but not least, this is the Morphe M433 blending brush. I use this one on the daily as well because it's not as thick as you can see as the Sigma E40, and it's not as thin as the Sigma E25. I feel like it's kind of an in-between, and I love this to go in and add more warmth. I kind of go with this brush more so after the transition shade just to add a little bit more warmth. In the transition, I love layering shadows. It's just the way that I do makeup, and so for me, this is a brush that I always use just to go ahead and add more shadows, and then I go in with my E25 just to really make sure everything's nice and blended and to add that detail work in the outer corner. So this is a brush I use all the time as well. All right, guys, so now on to face brushes. So this one I have is the Sigma High Cheekbone. Oh, Chanel. All right, so this one is the Sigma High Cheekbone Highlighter Brush. This is the F03. This is the brush that I apply highlight with. I love this brush. It's really, really great, and it really just kind of puts that highlight in the place that you want. I feel like if your brush is too thick with a highlighting brush, it's just gonna get it all over the cheeks, which can look, of course, very, very beautiful, but for me, I wanna focus the highlight really on the main highest points of the cheek. So this one is really, really great. As you can see, it's not too thick, not too thin. It is just right in my opinion. So this is the Sigma High Cheekbone Highlighter in the F03. This brush is the Sigma foundation brush, the F60. I don't think I've ever used this brush. I just have it as a backup just to have in my kit if I want to go ahead and put down something, or, you know, just have it as a backup, but sorry, I've never used you. Next, this is the Sigma Spotlight Duster F37. I use this brush to put blush down. I feel like the blush brush just doesn't blend out the blushes the way I like. So I like actually having more of a thicker, you know, much more fluffier brush to go ahead and apply blush, because I feel like people are back and forth when it comes to blush. You either meet a bride who wants a lot of blush, a lot of color, or you have the brides that aren't blush fans at all. So I feel like this is a great blush to either keep the blush very, very minimal or to really build it up. So I do love this blush brush. Oh, jeez. Say that 10 times fast. I actually use this on myself as well, so this is definitely one of my favorites. This is a brush I use on the daily as well. This is actually a MAC by Sharon Osbourne brush. I've had it for a couple years. I actually won it when I went to the Dress Your Face makeup class in New York City. I won the whole Sharon Osbourne by MAC collection, and so this is the brush that came in it. I put it in my kit, and I love this brush to go ahead and add bronzer to the neck, to the body, to bronze up the face a little bit. I love this brush. It's nice, big, it's fluffy, so the bronzer goes all over and gets into places that I want, so it's not so concentrated and creates like a bronzer line or anything like that. So this is a really great brush, and I love it. This brush is one, again, I've never really used. This is a Josie Maran 005 brush. I actually got this from QVC. It was kind of like a buy two foundations, get a brush in it. And so I actually got this, but I put it in my kit because it looks like it's a really great stippling brush. Again, I've never used it, but I wanted to put this in my kit just because if you have any kind of blush or face makeup that just needs to be blended out a little bit more, I feel like I love a stippling brush for that purpose. So I just have this in my kit if I ever do need to blend something out a little bit more. This is the Sigma Duo Fiber Powder Blush brush. This is the F15. I used to use this a lot for blush, but again, I just didn't really like the way that it was applying it. But again, I do have it in my kit just in case I want to blend something out a little bit more. This is the Sigma Large Angle Contour F40. Again, what I used to use, but I actually changed to a different contour brush. So this one I always have in my kit just as a backup if my other one's dirty and I just need a contour brush right away. And then I actually have two of the Sigma. This is the Tapered Highlighter F35 brushes. I use these brushes, of course, every single time I do makeup, whether it comes to setting the under eyes with my translucent powder, setting the smile lines with translucent powder, setting the forehead with translucent powder. I love these brushes because as you can see, they come to a point, come to a tip, so it's perfect for getting in right underneath the eyes and setting everything. So I do have two of these, one to use, of course, all the time, and another one as a backup. This is the Sigma Powder Blush Brush, F10. I use this to go ahead and apply a powder all over the face. I always go in with the like F35 to really set those places that need to be set and you want to not get shiny, as in the smile lines. You don't want the smile lines to crease. You don't want the forehead to get really, really shiny, especially when you're dealing with brides and photography. So I do go in with like the F35 to really powder those places. But then when it comes to the rest of the face, I go in with this brush because it, of course, sets more surface on the face, and I just really love this brush for that purpose. This is another powder brush that I use once in a while. This is the Large Powder Brush F30 by Sigma. As you can see, it is a very, very, very big powder brush. I used to use this a lot, but I don't really use it as much. But this is a brush that I just continue to have in my brushes. Now, speaking of the brush that I use to contour, this is the MAC. This is the MAC 160. This is the MAC 168, I believe. As you can see, the numbers have kind of worn off. But this is the brush I use to contour. I feel like I like it a little bit more than the Sigma one. I actually use the Sigma one on myself, so I'm not hating on it. But this one I just feel like is a lot more fluffier. It just gets more space for contour. I don't know, I just like it better using it on my clients than the regular contour brush. It's just really, really nice and soft, and I do love it. This brush I use when it comes to doing a liquid contour. This is the Sephora, this is the Pro Airbrush Concealer Brush. This is the this is the 57 brush by Sephora. I like this, like I said, for liquid contour when it comes to applying contour to the cheeks. What are you doing? When it comes to applying that liquid contour to the cheeks and the forehead, and then I go ahead and blend it out with a blender. I like this just to go ahead. It's one of my favorites. I actually learned about this brush and like using it for contour from another makeup artist. So I went ahead and bought one for my kit as well. So I do use this for liquid contour. And then this brush is by Sigma as well. This is the Precision Tapered P86 brush. And I actually put this in my kit for if you have kind of the inner corner when you're applying concealer and you can't really get in that inner corner to blend it out. As you can see, the tip is very much a tapered end. It's very precise, so you can really get into the inner corner of the eye without poking your client's eye out. So I do have this down for any kind of smaller eyes that I can't really get my brush into. And also just to go ahead and just really blend that concealer in, because a lot of people have a lot of bluey and purpley tones in the inner corners of their eyes. So this is the perfect brush to have if you want to go ahead and really make sure the concealer is really covering everything that you need it to cover. I'll add these ones into, these are actually lip brushes. The two little yellow ones, these are by Morphe. This is the M170-4, and the bigger one, well, let me get, there we go. The bigger one is the Morphe E19. Between all these brushes, I use these little ones the most, just because everyone's lips are different. I feel like this one, I like it, and I've had it for some time, but when you have people that have smaller lips, it's very difficult to use this brush. So these ones are the ones that I use the most, just because it really gives me more control with applying lipstick and really just making sure that the lipstick is blended out into the lip liner and everything like that. So I do love these ones. Again, these are the Morphe M170-4s. Just so you know. Again, they'll be linked down below. And then last but not least, I have two brushes left. So this one is by MAC. This is the MAC 287 brush. This is the brush that I apply. This is the brush that I use to blend out concealer a little bit more. I actually go in with this brush. This one is the Morphe M224? M224, I really don't know, because as you can see, the lettering is completely off. This is probably the brush that I use the most. This is the brush that I use to apply foundation. I always go in and apply foundation first, kind of dotting it and spreading it all over the face, and then I will go in with a blender to really blend it out. But this is the brush that I use to apply foundation. This is also the brush that I use to apply concealer. And then what I'll do is I'll go in with this brush to kind of take away concealer that's too much, and just to really kind of blend it out a little bit more. So these two go hand in hand. I use these brushes every single time I do somebody's makeup. This foundation brush is very similar to like the Sigma foundation brushes and things like that. I really love them. They are the two most used brushes, I think, in my whole kit, just because it has to do with the face, but I love these two so much. All right, guys, so that is it for every brush that I have in my makeup kit here. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, it was a video that a lot of you were requesting, just so you guys can see what brushes I have on my clients. Let me know in the comments down below if there are any brushes that you guys use that are holy grail that you cannot live without when doing makeup on clients. I'm always interested in getting new brushes, trying new brushes out to see what the best is out there. So again, link that and actually comment it down below so I can go ahead and see what you guys love. If you like this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe to my channel if you're not already. I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and bye.